Doug MPA back with another one. This is another video talking about women and their student loan debt. This woman on the screen right here is Dr. Shamel Bell. She was on Dr. Phil complaining about the fact that her student loans haven't been forgiven yet. And she's going to have all the typical excuses. I was a first generation high school graduate. I was a first generation person to go to college. Blah, 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 blah. She got herself $250,000 in student loan debt. And she has scholarships for tuition the whole time, you guys. The whole time. And this is what's happening with these women out here, guys. They're getting into all this debt. I honestly believe these women think that while they're getting these degrees, they think that they're never going to have to pay for it because the government's going to pay for it, or you are going to come along, guys, and you're going to pay for it. Like I say on all my student loan debt videos, guys, don't get involved with a woman who has a whole lot of debt, especially student loan debt. A woman's debt should be disqualification for consideration for serious relationship or marriage. Don't do it, you guys. So we're going to have to use an overlay on this one because Dr. Phil sure does like to copyright strike channels who use his videos. So I can play the sound, but I can't show the actual video. And we're going to get into this. Before I do that, like the video, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. I really appreciate it. It shows you support me and what I'm doing over here. And let's get into this.
I'm a first generation high school graduate, and I have a Ph.D. from UCLA, and I'm a lecturer at Harvard University. I've met the requirements of success, but the amount of debt that I am in is unbelievable. $250K of student loan debt and tens of thousands of credit card debt.
She's cooked, guys. You see how she said $250,000 in student loan debt and tens of thousands of dollars in credit card debt? She's probably over $300,000 in debt total. And for what? And for what? She's never getting out of that, guys, ever.
Even though I had tuition remission, what about my basic needs? I had to take additional loans in order to survive. I don't have a family that can help me. I worked hard through illness and used my education so that I could make a difference, and I'm still struggling. Some minimum payments can be like $600 for my credit cards. I haven't even started paying back my student loan debt. Sorry, I'm having a panic attack.
Oh, all I can say is people keep falling for this. I have to go to a prestigious school. Guys, Doug MPA has a bachelor's degree and a master's degree from 2 public schools. And I can count on one hand how many times people have asked me where I went. If you're going to go to school, get a degree in something worth the paper it's printed on, and go to a public school. Don't go to these private schools. Don't do it, guys. Don't.
The inability to sleep, the panic attacks. I don't even buy things. I don't have the money. I can barely eat sometimes. And when my program is up, I saw that my student loan debt balance for every month is over $1,000. I can't afford that. Canceling student debt is not only legal, it's absolutely necessary. I worked hard. I've never been lazy. I don't even feel a way out.
Thanks.
Okay, so before we go into her testimony here, you might want to feel a little bit of sympathy for her, guys. I know you might want to because she's, a young lady. She's probably going to be crying and stuff like that. But let's look at Dr. Shamel Bell on LinkedIn, okay? She's a lecturer in theater dance media at Harvard University. Theater dance media, guys. oh yeah, it gets better. It gets better. In her bio, it says, visionary instigator of street dance activism and global dance meditation for Black liberation. Dr. Shamel Bell is a mother because of course she is. Of course she is.
You let him hit it raw. You didn't have second thoughts. Now you a single mom. Now you a single mom.
No mention of being a wife or being married on here. Community organizer, dancer, choreographer, and documentary filmmaker. And let's look at this education that she paid so much money for. You guys ready for this? You are gonna. This is great. So she has a Bachelor of Arts in African American and Black Studies from University of Southern California, a Master of Arts in Ethnic Studies from UC San Diego, and a Ph.D. in World Arts, Culture, and Dance from UCLA. Come on, guys. You feel bad for her now? I didn't think so. I didn't think so.
Thanks for being here to talk about this. You're worried about this burden, right? This is a big debt.
Absolutely. I'm panicking even watching this back, even having this conversation, and it's so charged. I just feel like I was set up to fail. I don't have access that, other people have in society with, family.
Now, you're going to hear a whole lot of buzzwords. Generational wealth, access, disparity, excuses, blah, 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 blah. Get ready for it.
Support generational wealth. And so I did everything. I worked extremely hard through disability. So one thing about me, I could probably get my loans canceled with total disability. And a lot of people are like,
no, she couldn't, because if she would have done it already.
oh, if you have a disability, you can get your loan canceled. But I don't want a handout. It's really infuriating for people to say, oh, you just want a handout. I don't want a handout. In fact, I can get public service loan forgiveness because I am a public servant. I went to get this education to actually teach and help shift society, to make sure that people after me don't have to go through what I went through. I saw that you love merit, your media as well as in your book. And I just want to ask the question about who is deserving when you talk about meritocracy, when you're not thinking about socioeconomic background, who is deserving?
It's not a woman who got a degree in African American lesbian theater studies. Jeez, come on, you guys.
Of having access to this wealth when we have historical legacy of not being able to have access to education, housing, fair employment, wage, disparities and such.
You've worked really hard, right?
Yes.
And I mean, so people know you went to University of Southern California as an undergrad, UC San Diego for a master's, UCLA for a PhD. You grew up in South Central LA, and you've really worked hard, been teaching Black feminist theory. And
there it is, guys. She's been teaching Black feminist theory. Of course she has. And she's talking about meritocracy. She has 3 degrees that aren't worth the paper they are printed on. Got her tuition paid. No, no. And this woman is part of the problem, guys. This is why so many people are against student loan debt forgiveness en masse. No. And she makes a pretty good case as to why student loans shouldn't be forgiven. And it's sad for me to say that because there are people, I think that the public student loan forgiveness program is a good thing. I think that we should have some of the best and brightest working for the government. And I know you guys might say, oh, yeah, government's too big. Yeah, well, government isn't going anywhere, guys. So stop the cap. We still need highly qualified, highly competent, educated people to run the government or to work in the government. But women like her, I don't know what she's going to do, man. I really don't.
Media and performance. You've been a Harvard lecturer. You didn't just get your degree and go home and sip a mint julep. You got out there and started mixing it up. And you say this makes you feel like less of a person. How so?
Absolutely feel like less of a person because I feel like people look at me and they see my student debt and they say, you should have made better decisions. I had no other choice because of the living expenses, because people say sometimes like, oh, well, you know, you should have gotten scholarship. I did have full tuition scholarships. And then also when you get a PhD, you work as a TA to get your tuition paid. But who's gonna help me?
She had her PhD in culture and dance, you guys. You work doing what?
With living expenses. I was in California. How is my rent going to be paid? How am I going to eat?
Your point is you weren't spending this money on vacations.
No.
You were spending this money on bare necessities. You know, we do our homework, and that's what I said. You've worked hard and you spent this money responsibly.
Absolutely.
But you did have to have the money or you wouldn't get the degree.
Absolutely.
And you didn't have to get the degree, but you wanted the degree. And so you chose to take on the debt to get the degree.
And that's interesting that you say you don't have to get a degree.
Here it comes, guys. As a black woman, I have to blah, blah. Watch.
For someone like myself to get an equal playing field, a black woman, there's wage disparities. There's, you know, when we understand that women get paid less, I have to get a higher education degree for a job that someone that doesn't look like me can just walk in and may be able to get.
Guys, I'm not going to even touch this one. If you're watching this channel, you have the same opinion on this that I do. Doug MPA is black. And I could go on about this for a long time, but that's for a whole separate video. But you guys know, come on now. I don't even have to say anything about that.
So I feel like I had to get this degree. And in order to be someone that can change things in society, people wouldn't listen to me if I wasn't Dr. Shamel Bell. If I came up here and just told you I was from South Central Los Angeles and you need to give me free education, you might be like, okay, yes, free education. But if I can tell you, I did not just get a dance degree, I have that too, because art and dance saved my life. But I have an American history degree, so I understand historical context and legacy.
Did you get...
Now, this is important, guys. Listen to the question and listen how she answers it. This is important.
what you consider to be marketable degrees?
They're marketable in theory, but not in practice.
There it is. There it is, guys. There it is. She knows that her degrees were not marketable. She's holding on to this dream the whole time that she was going to use dance and art to save the world. Yeah, well, how's that going for you? Guys, she's cooked, man. She is cooked. She's in her 30s. She's a single mom, $250,000 in debt.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
She's cooked, man.
Because housing and everything is so expensive.
These are the type of women who want student loan debt forgiveness, guys. And I think that the majority of women are these women. Because only 10% of STEM students, science, technology, engineering, math, are women. All the rest of them are getting degrees in dance, theater, marketing. What are the 7 degrees I always say women get that aren't worth the paper they're printed on, guys? Say them with me. Psychology, sociology, social work, criminal justice, some kind of studies degree, so gender studies, African-American studies. She has an African-American studies degree, communications and education. She has 3 degrees not worth the paper they are printed on. And sadly, it makes the case against student loan debt forgiveness. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you on the next one.